Scroll through any feed, turn on any news channel, or just listen to the table next to you at a coffee shop. Across politics, religion, and sports, the modern world feels like a collection of conflicting certainties, where every side claims their position is the only rational choice. When everyone claims to be thinking clearly, we have to ask, how can so many logical minds arrive at completely contradictory conclusions? The mind constantly processes a flood of data from our senses, our social circles, and our hidden biases. Our internal processing is naturally prone to shortcuts and errors that we rarely notice. This constant disagreement suggests we are missing a shared objective standard to verify the way we process reality. We need a mechanism to protect the thinking process from its own flaws, something that functions independently of our personal opinions. Logic functions as a mechanical filter. It provides a rigid, unchanging structure for our thoughts to pass through. When an error in reasoning enters, the grid intercepts the mistake. Flawed data is rejected, while valid conclusions move forward. This makes logic an objective algorithm for truth, an instrument designed specifically to separate the signal from the noise. In the 4th century BCE, Aristotle observed the way the human mind naturally processes information and codified those observations into a set of absolute rules. He called this collection of texts the organon, a Greek word that means the tool. This tool was deemed so precise that it was translated and passed across civilizations, moving from Greek into Syriac, and eventually reaching the great intellectual centers of the Islamic world. Because its rules were as objective as geometry, it became a universal inheritance for anyone, regardless of their empire or era, who wanted to think clearly. However, history often confuses this neutral tool with the personal opinions of the people who used it. We often fail to distinguish logic from philosophy. Logic is the fixed steel ruler. Philosophy is the map a person draws while using that ruler to measure the world. When thinkers use the ruler incorrectly, they produce flawed maps. These errors belong to the mapmaker, while the ruler itself remains straight and reliable. This is why later scholars could adopt Aristotle's logical rules while rejecting his specific claim that the universe was eternal. They used his own ruler to show where his map went wrong. The instrument is neutral. It is only the human application that introduces the possibility of error. This neutrality challenges the idea that logic is a threat to religious faith. In 11th century Andalusia, a strictly traditional scholar named Ibn Huz argued that logic was actually a requirement for the believer. Decades before it became mainstream, Ibn Huz integrated these logical rules into the study of law and theology, using them to clarify religious definitions. He pointed to the Quran's frequent commands to reflect and reason. To Ibn Huz, if a failure to reason correctly could lead to a misunderstanding of truth, then mastering the rules of thought was a moral necessity. By treating logic as a regulator for the mind, he provided a way for scholars to verify their own reasoning. It was a safeguard used to ensure their interpretations remained aligned with the clarity their faith demanded. Today, we need this ancient instrument to process complex modern data. Whether we are evaluating the counterintuitive findings of physics or the arguments of modern atheism, the rules of valid thinking remain the same. Logic provides the protocol for how to think, even when it doesn't tell you exactly what to think. The next time a daily debate gets heated, lower the volume. Check the underlying premise of the argument and let the tool do the heavy lifting. In our next episode, we will take this unchanging ruler and use it to measure modern scientific claims, showing exactly where the logic holds and where it breaks down.